kuingoa, he uri whakaheke o ngā iwi o te arawa, te whakatohea tūhoi, me ngā puhi anō hoki. Very privileged to actually be here to be a part of this awesome as well as very important kaupapa, talking about climate change. And I think, you know, just want to do a big mihi to you, Tina, as well as your team for organising such an awesome kaupapa, and the turnout just sort of just shows the importance of what everyone's been discussing. And I've been out there cooking, I've just been thinking about everything. I was like, damn, would have loved to have sit in on some of the awesome kōrero, because yeah, I think, you know, the knowledge and information shared, it's really transformative in terms of the way that we start to view things. And for me, myself anyway, I think there's so much big, huge ideas out there that sometimes it's hard to comprehend. But I think when we start to bring it back into thinking about what are the decisions that I can make today that's maybe going to make an impact over the long term. So I think that's what my whole journey's been around. Being Māori and being vegan was really something quite out of the norm when I made my transition a few years ago. And that whole journey just really started out of the seed of curiosity. I was just curious about why millions of people around the world started to have meals without meats and without dairy and without their gizzy butter. Where are you, fire? When the scones came out, fire come out, where's the butter? But so for me, it was really something new. And I think whenever we experience something new, there's that feeling of discomfort. You know, and discomfort is really the sign of growth. You know, so for me, it was really wanting to grow as a person. In order to do that, discomfort needed to be sort of walked on a regular basis. And going down this plant-based journey, I also went alcohol-free. But this plant-based journey just really started to really put a new lens on the way I started to view the world, because food is something we all eat on a day-to-day basis, but how often are we really conscious about the kai that we're actually viewing as well as in putting into our bodies, knowing the whakapapa of that kai. Where did that piece of steak come from? Where did that milk in that carton come from? All of those types of things. And for me, it just started to really be a massive process. And I was one of those guys who just watched this documentary on Netflix, Cowspiracy. I watched this Netflix documentary, then that led on to another one. But for me, and like I said, being Māori, the thing that really started to shift from curiosity to it being like a purpose-driven pathway was the impact that the dairy industries as well as the meat industries have on our environment. And being Māori, how can we stand up and acknowledge our whakapapa, our pepeha, such as our maunga and our awa, when those things are suffering at the moment? And when I talk about my awa waiotahi, which is just in Opotiki, as you sort of go from Opotiki to Whakatane, there's waiotahi there, and it's called the pipi beds there. And that whole awa there, that whole river there has been polluted, and that's due to farming. So for me, when I started to acknowledge my awa, I'm like, how connected am I to it? So if I know the situations, and I think we're all aware of some of the things that are happening, but I think it's ignorant of us if we choose not to do something about it. So for me, these little connections started to happen, and so going plant-based was actually such an easy sort of pathway to walk, because there was a deep and rooted meaning and purpose into why I was starting to choose to eat differently. And for me, it's just opened up just so much opportunities, as well as opportunities of growth in myself. And one person told me something, tangata whenua, me ki koe tangata whenua. So when you're eating plant-based kai, he kai oranga mo te tangata, he kai oranga mo te whenua. So it's good for the person as well, it's good for the land. But when we're thinking about duality, and we talk about tangata whenua, what about tangata rangi? Whoa. You know, so what we're doing on the whenua here is impacting what is happening in the sky. So I think when we start to make these little different connections, these little simple decisions like looking at the foods that we're eating on our plate, looking at how we can minimize plastic, looking at how we can start to eliminate our carbon footprint. And I'm going to put my hand up, you know, I've still got so much work to do with te whānau. Like, I'm guilty of so much things, but I'm trying. Ko tērā te mea nui, eh? Ko tērā te mea nui. As long as we try, as long as we start to implement, and I really do believe it's just a season, right? There's times where we're in the moment where we feel like, oh yeah, this is the path that I'm committed to, that I feel is right for me at the time. Let's wait in 5 years' time and let's reanalyze. Maybe we're ready for something a little bit new that can maybe perhaps give out more contribution. So the kai that I've served out today, I wouldn't call myself a chef. I'm quite an average cooker, to be honest, but I'm so passionate about my lifestyle. I'm so passionate about being Māori, so passionate about being about health and wellness, that so much aroha just goes into my kai. And I cheat a little bit because I know Māoris are onto it. We eat with our eyes first, eh? So if the kai looks a bit nice, you've already gotten there a little bit step further. And because it's all plant-based kai, the expectations are very low. So when you eat the kai, you're like, wow, this is great. But you know, that's my take on it anyway. But all of the feedback, ka reo tae ki te tūmihi mea kāre kei konei tōku whai aipo tōku hoa wahine. So out in the trailer there is my fiance, my beautiful darling, and I really couldn't do it without her. She does a whole lot. She wouldn't stand up here at all, but it'd be rude of me if I didn't really start to acknowledge someone who really helps me stand, as well as supports me in this dream and quest that I'm on, let's put it that way. But e te whānau, thank you so much for giving me this time. Thank you so much for the feedback as well as the openness. And yeah, I think the main kōrero out of this, I think, is just like, let's test the waters, let's self-analyse, what can we do on a day-to-day basis, and where are areas of discomfort that we're ready to challenge. Mauri ora.